Welcome back to another Clash of Spears battle report. Today, the Crusaders will be taking on the Hussites once again, somewhere in Bohemia, on these little farm fields. The Hussites will be on that side, while the Crusaders will be on this side. It's about 1,000 points. It's going to be a lot of rough ground here. We'll do the fields as rough ground. Everything else is open. Not a lot of intervening terrain except for like these groups of trees. And you got the hedgerows. So, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the list. Alright, and here we have the Crusaders. We have a level 3 leader with Bannerman, and then a level 2 leader. We have 2 units of 6 mounted knights, and then another mounted unit of 4 knights, a unit of 10 billmen, and then 2 units of 10 crossbowmen. Total point value is a little over 1,000 points. So, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the Hussites. And here we have the Hussites. We have a level 3 leader with Bannerman, level 2 leader with a musician, 2 units of 10 billmen, a unit of 8 men-at-arms, a unit of 8 handgunners with pavise, and then 2 war wagons. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and deploy and begin the battle. Alright, we have deployed our units for the Crusaders. I got crossbowmen and billmen on my left flank. Unit of 6 knights and 4 knights in the middle with my level 3. And then on the right flank we have crossbowmen and my other 6-man mounted knight unit with my level 2 leader on the right flank. And for the Hussites, they have clumped up a little more in the field here. We've got the billmen on the Hussite left with a level 3 leader, war wagon, billman in the middle, 2nd war wagon on the right with the men-at-arms, level 2 leader, and another billman in the open terrain over here on the right flank. So with that, we'll go ahead and roll. Alright, initiative 3 for the Crusaders and a 1 for the Hussites. The Crusaders will get the first activation, and we will begin. Alright, and at the end of turn 1, there was no action, just some maneuvering. So on here from the Crusaders, I advanced my billmen and my crossbowmen on the left flank, and then keeping my cavalry in reserve for that final push, hopefully. And then on the right flank, push up my crossbowmen and my leader on the right, also keeping the cavalry in reserve. And for the Hussites, he advanced the handgunners forward, and then he pushed forward the wagons and fortified them in their wagonburg with the billmen in the middle, men-at-arms on the right flank, and then everything else stayed back in the rear. So with that, we go to round 2 and roll initiative. 2 for the Crusaders and a 4 for the Hussites, gaining the first activation, and we'll see what happens. Alright, and for round 2, beginning off, he repositioned his men-at-arms in front of the war wagon. I repositioned my officer. He repositioned his officer, moving him up forward, and then for my next action, I'm pushed forward my crossbowman, and then I'm going to fire at long range into his billman. So it's going to be 5 shots, hitting on 5s, I believe. Yep, 5s. For just a 1 hit. And then he'll get 1 5-up save for being long range.
Just roll 1.
Yep. Which he makes. All right. And then you roll 1 die for a grit. What is your grit value for the crossbowman?
Is it for my billman or for the crossbowman?
Crossbowman. Oh wait, no, billman.
My grit would be 4.
4? Okay, so you just need to roll 4. I'll take a fatigue. So you got it. All right, pass the save and the grit test, and then we'll move on back to Hussites activation. All right, continuing on, I've pushed forward my billman, pushed forward my crossbowman, and then for the Hussites, they've more or less just continued to push forward their leaders, and now they're activating the war wagon to fire into my billman. Long range, so only 3 guys will be shooting, hitting on 4s. For 2 hits, and then I don't get a plus to my save, and are we in -1 to my save range?
No.
No? Okay. So there should be 6 ups, which I failed 2, so I take 2 casualties, and then 3 grit tests of 4, which I pass all of them. So no fatigue, but I do take 2 casualties, and then it goes, and then the war wagon will take 2 unloaded tokens, and then it will go back to Crusaders activation. All right, and then moving on, I just advanced my knights on the right flank, and then Hussites passed, and then I passed again. So with that, we go to the next round. Rolling initiative. 5 for the Crusaders and a 4 for the Hussites. This should be interesting. Alright, for the Crusaders activation, I activated my crossbowman, which moved forward twice. And for the third action, they're going to fire into the handgunners. But before that, he's going to attempt to interrupt with those said handgunners. So, needing a 4+ for the grit save, which he gets. So he will be able to make an action, which he is going to form close orders. Correct?
Shoot back.
Or shoot back, yeah.
I'll shoot back.
Shooting first, alright. So that'll be 8 shots. Hitting on 5s, I believe.
-1.
To my save, yeah. I got to save a 6-up save. So any hit from this will take a casualty. 8 dice. Needing 5s. And I see 3. 3 hits and 3 casualties. Alright. And then I'll need to make grit save of 4 up. Oh. And that's 2 fatigue right there, and I am stalled out. So I won't be able to shoot them. And on top of 3 casualties. And then we go to Crusader or Hussites activation. Alright, moving on. The Crusaders shifted their men-at-arms towards the center, and then for the Crusaders, I went ahead and pushed forward my billman, and then formed an all-out attack on his men-at-arms. He has decided to defend, so this will be 5 attacks, hitting on 4s, and then 6s will cause an additional hit. Not bad. So all those hit, and then an additional for that 6. So that is 7 hits that he will try to block out. All you need to do is make your combat value of 3. 7 dice.
Damn your vile popery!
and you block all but 2.
Oh, nice.
All right, and then you make 2 4-up saves for those 2 hits that you missed. Oh, failing 1, so you take 1 casualty, and then roll 2 grit die. Your grit is a 3.
2 grit die?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, failed them both. Okay. So you will take 2 fatigue. I will take 2 fatigue, and I will back up. And then we'll go back to Hussites activation. Alright, next up for the Hussites, activating the War Wagon's going to fire at long range on my crossbowman. So this will be 3 dice hitting on 4s.
Jeez.
With nothing. Nothing for that, and then 2 unloaded tokens, and then so you got 2 actions left. You could just go ahead and reload if you wanted to.
I think I need to.
Alright. Just be that one.
Just now?
Yep. Alright, and then we'll move on to Crusaders activation. Alright, and for the Crusaders, I went ahead and activated my crossbowmen. I reloaded them, pushing forward once, and then I'm going to fire into these billmen over here again. So it's be 5 shots hitting on 5. Or 2 hits, and then that'll be 2 6-up saves for the billmen. I'm making 1 and taking 1 casualty, and then 2 grit die, needing 4s. Making them both, so they take no fatigue, just a casualty. And then we'll move on back to Hussites activation. Alright, and moving on for the Hussites, these guys, he activated the handgunners, which reloaded for the rest of the round, and then I pushed forward my knights in the middle, and then on the right flank, my general pushed forward as well. And then besides that, nothing else going on, and which brings us to the end of this next round. And then we'll go ahead and roll initiative for the next round. It's a 5 for the Crusaders and a 1 for the Hussites. And we'll see what happens. Alright, for the Crusaders, it was a tough decision on what to do first, but ultimately I went with the crossbowmen. They're going to go ahead and unleash their fire into his handgunners to try and take them out. So before that, we'll do an activation test. I need a 4-up, which I make. And then this will be 7 shots into the handgunners, hitting on 5s. And that is 3 hits. And then that'll be 3 6-up saves for the handgunners. Because they're not in formed close orders. So I made 1, so they'll take 2 casualties. And then roll 3 grit tests of 4. 3 dice. And they'll take 2 fatigue. They'll be stalled out with 2 casualties. And then we'll go on back to Hussites activation. Alright, and for the Hussite activation, he's going to activate the War Wagon, which is going to fire into my Mounted Knights here. So this will be 6 shots hitting on 4s. That's 3 hits, not bad. And then I do get a -1 to my save at this range, I believe. So this will be a 5-up save for the Mounted Knight. Oh, it failed 3. Ouch. So I'll take 3 casualties and then 4 grit tests of 3. Passing them all. So I take half my casualties, but I will lose, not gain any fatigue. Alright. And then they will get 2 unloaded tokens.
And a fatigue, correct?
Yes, for third actions.
Yep.
Because they reloaded twice and then fired. Alright, back to Crusaders. Alright, and for the Hussites, he activated the Billman, moving forward twice, and then performing an all-out attack on my crossbowman. So
Damn you, Siegfried.
this will be 9 attacks, hitting on 4s or 5s. Billman, combat 4. Yep, 4s. And then 6s will count as a double hit. That's pretty good. So we got 3 hits and then a 4th hit with a 6, counting for a total of 5. I forgot to decide what I was going to do. I'm going to defend these. So, crossbowman combat of 4 as well. So I block 1, and then 4 6-up saves. Saving 1, so I take 3 casualties, and then 4 up crit saves, taking 2 fatigue in the process. Alright. Moving on back to Crusaders activation. Alright, continuing on, not too much action so far. I swung around my knights to try to outflank. In response, he repositioned his billman to block his undefended flank. And then back to me. My billmen are going to perform an all-out attack on them. Let's do a grit test, activate them, which I pass. And then they go in, forming an all-out. He has decided to counterattack with his. So I will go first because I have the billmen, or the pikes. So hitting on 5s, or 4s. Yeah, 4s. And there's 1 6. All those hit, 1 with a 6, for a total of 6 hits on your knights. So this will be 6, 4 up saves. Ooh, you take 4 casualties. I'll double check to see if it happens at the same time or not, but as it stands, he's taken 4 casualties. And then let me check the rules. Alright, I know initiative does come into play. I'm assuming, I don't know where it says in the rules on whether or not that applies for traits, or if it just applies in general for counterattacking. So as it stands, let me know in the comments. We're just going to go ahead and say that'll be the counterattack will be it simultaneously. So he'll get to do his full attacks. So before that, we'll do his grit tests. He needs 3s. Failing 2. So he'll take 2 fatigue for that. And then, which will stall him for the rest of the round. So before that, we'll go ahead and do 7 attacks with the men-at-arms. Hitting on 3s, and then re-rolling 1s, but you don't got any 1s. Okay, so that's 6 hits. And then I need 6 up saves. Making 2 and taking 5 casualties in return. 6 grit tests of 4. Ouch. Okay. So I took 4 casualties. No, 5 casualties? Yeah, 4. Alright. And then 2 fatigue for the all-out attack, bringing me to 3. And then an additional 3 for a total of 6. Okay. They don't break because I'm not over 6 and I'm not at twice the amount per model. So they will stand, but that was pretty costly. I will back up 2 inches. He'll take 3 casualties and his unit is stalled. And then it goes back to Hussites activation. Alright, and for the Hussites, activating the war wagon here is going to fire into my crossbowman over here. So it'll be 3 dice hitting on 4s. Taking 1 hit. I do get my save of 6 up. No. Take 1 casualty and grit test. Taking 2 fatigue for that. That brings me to 4 fatigue on them. That's not good. And I will take another casualty, which will bring me to my second breakpoint. Not good. 2 unloaded tokens for them. Unless you want to spend your 2 actions to load them.
Sure.
Doesn't cost a command point. They're already activated.
Okay, then yes.
Okay. They'll just take a fatigue. And then it'll go back to Crusaders.
I should know what Iron Will was.
All right, for Crusaders, I activated my Mountain Knights. They formed close orders, and then they charged into the Men-at-Arms. You said you were going to defend?
Correct.
All right, so this will be 3 attacks. Hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. 3 hits. All right, and then you'll get to make 3 defenses rolls of 3. Made 1, so you take 2 hits and then 2 6-up saves because it is lances. Taking 2 casualties and then 3 grit tests.
What's the A?
3.
3.
So they pass. They pass. Don't take any fatigue. And then I will take some fatigue. I'll back up 4 inches, and then we'll go to the Hussites. Activation. All right. Rest of the round was just doing some reloading for the war wagons, which then brought us to the end of the round. And then back to initiative. I'm at 2 breakpoints. He is at 1. So, on to the next round. 5 for the Crusaders, and a 1 for the Hussites. Crusaders get first activation.
Alright.
Alright, for my Crusading activation, I spent 2 CP on my general over here to activate my Mounted Knights, which form close orders, and are about to charge into the handgunners. But before that, he is going to try to interrupt me with his handgunners. So, needing a 4-up to interrupt. And he gets it. All right. And I take it you're just going to shoot back?
Yes, yeah.
All right. So that's 4, 5, 6 shots. Hitting on 5s. Two. Yep, just two hits. Yeah. This will be a -1 to my save. Save a 4.
Can I use a fate point to reroll that?
One of them, yeah, you could.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. Nope.
Damn.
All right. I failed 2. I take 2 casualties. And then grit test. Passing 2. So I'll take 1 fatigue. And then they will charge into the handgunners. Alright, and the Mountain Knights go charging into the handgunners. Just 4 dice, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. For 3 hits, it's a -2 to your save, so you will... were you wanting to do anything? Defend or anything?
Just spend another one to defend?
Another action to defend, yeah, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I would.
I'll defend.
Alright, so that's 3 dice. You need 4s to block. He blocked every single shot. Oh, that's rough.
Those Protestants, man, they really got God on their
They
side.
just dodged out of the way. Alright, with that we go back to Hussites activation. Alright, for the Hussites, they're going to activate the war wagon to shoot into my knights. So do a grit test, see if they activate. That'll do it. And then this will be 6 shots onto my knights. Hitting on 4s. That is 4 hits. -1 of my save, so it'll be a 5-up save. And I lose 2 of them. Alright. And then 3 grit saves of 3. Taking 3 fatigue. bringing me to 5. Let's see. I believe they have Iron Will. Yes, they do. So they won't break. But he's pretty much useless at this point. And then we go back into Crusaders activation. Alright, for the Crusaders, I spent 2 CP to bring up my reserve Cav as they push forward twice. And then back to the Hussites, he's going to activate the Billmen to finish off my crossbowmen. They started with 1 CP, needing to do an activation test, which they pass. And then you're doing an all-out attack, which will bring you to 3 fatigue at the end. And then 9 attacks into my crossbowmen, which will defend. This will be 4s. That is really good. Oof. And you all attacked, right? So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total. I only have 6 guys to block. 4s. Block 2. And 8 6-up saves. As I take 5 casualties. 3, 4, 5. I'm down to 1 guy left. 6 grit tests. Grit is a 4. So I will take 1 grit test, which unfortunately I already have 1. That'll bring double the fatigue. So that 1 last guy will run away completely as the crossbowmen get wiped out. Alright, and then we move back to the Crusaders. Alright, last activation for the Crusaders. I'm going to activate my Billmen. Grit test passes with a 5. And then they're going to do an attack on his men-at-arms to try and finish them off. So, this will be 4 dice to hit, -1 to combat. Are you doing anything with your men-at-arms?
They're so low, I think I should defend, I guess.
There's only 2 of them left. Couldn't hurt, I guess.
And your bellhooks are the ones doing it, huh?
Yep. I'll be hitting on 5s. Alright, defending with the men-at-arms, I am hitting on 5s. 1 hit. Alright, and you roll 2 dice to defend. Or I guess just 1, actually. Which you did. Got it. Alright, they block. Now fall back. Taking a 4th fatigue. And then I'll just go ahead and rest twice to bring it down to 2.
Smart.
Alright, and then it's back to Hussites activation. Alright, and for the Hussites, they're going to try and finish off my cab with the Billmen. So activation test. 4 will do it. And then that's 10 attacks going into my men-at-arms. They are going to defend. Hitting on 4s. Was this just a regular attack?
It was an all-out.
An all-out. So 3 more. Okay, and then I'm blocking 4. This will be 4 up because I have 3 fatigue. So I block 3. And then I need to make all these saves of 4-up saves. And that right there is the men-at-arms, or the Mounted Knights wiped out. And that is the majority of my army at this point. Alright, back to, and then Crusaders. I have out of CP, so I'll pass. And then it goes back to the Hussites activation. All right, last activation for the Hussites. Gonna try to shoot with the War Wagon. Grid test. 6 will do it. And then that's 6 shots into my Billman, hitting on 4s. That's 3 hits. You know, I don't get a save. I have a 6-up save, and it's a -1 to the penetration. So I take 3 casualties, which will bring me to my 4th breakpoint. And then another fatigue, bringing me to 3. I took 3 casualties. Yep, they run away. They're gone. Wiped out. And then that is the end of the round. I am at 4 breakpoints, so I roll 3 dice and get a -1 to my roll. A 3 is what I needed. Back to a 4. So I do hold as we go on to another round. But what are you? You're not even at 2 breakpoints, are you? Mm-hmm. Nope. I think I'm going to have to concede at this point. The Crusaders are going to fall back and lick our wounds and fight another day. So this victory will go to the Hussites. Thanks for watching, guys.